Poor James is feeling sick, so it's baked potatoes, bread, and oatmeal. We'll see what he can handle. I'm going to talk about Jack Ryan Season 1, Holding, Master Gardener, Our House to Catch a Killer, Level 16, The Wedding Guest, and Resident Evil Death Island. And poor James is just going to try to survive. I'm surprised you came over today.
You have to pay to your insurance, right?
Yeah. It's very thoughtful. Anyway, so this got the top of the stack, and at first I was watching it and I'm like, yeah, I can see that John Krasinski has produced this in part and whatever, but he seemed like he kind of miscast himself in the role that he gave himself. But honestly, after watching it for a little while, it's entertaining, and I think every actor involved with this production did a good job. I mean, it's based on Tom Clancy, whatever. So, I mean, I really wasn't expecting much. I was expecting a lot of action and this and that, and they delivered. So, whatever. How's the potato going? Good. He's been living on hot chocolate.
And some bread.
And some bread. Okay, well, I'll send you back with some more bread if you can handle bread. Okay, because there's lots of that. Holding. This got second in the stack, and I did not expect it to, because it's an Acorn TV production, and honestly, they seem like Britain's kind of quality equivalent, Hallmark, honestly. So anyway, it's a detective story. It's based in a town where they never have any, they don't have to worry about crimes or anything, and all of a sudden human bones are found, and it's a great story. They did a good job. Master Gardener. This was the one I expected to get top of the stack, especially when I'm watching the beginning, like it's starring Sigourney Weaver and some other people. And I'm watching the beginning with all the flowers, buds opening and stuff. Oh, so beautiful, right? And I thought, oh, this is going to be terrific, because here I am. I love gardening, and Master Gardener, this is going to be great. And it really wasn't. It was kind of ho-hum. I loved her jellyfish wallpaper. I totally want to have jellyfish wallpaper everywhere after watching this. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of, honestly, I remember when I was a teen, and I saw the movie on the shelf today, actually, when I went to the library. It was American History X. I remember watching that as a teen and thinking, oh my God, he's so handsome. And you don't want to think that, right, about Edward Norton's character. You don't want to think that, because here he is, this scary guy. But I don't know, I guess I had a thing back then for muscly guys with lots of tattoos. But anyway, the content matter of the tattoos here is, it's a little bit shocking. But anyway, yeah, I didn't believe that this woman that has this big, this huge garden on her estate, that she doesn't have some sort of security, or she doesn't have their people around the clock in her garden, noticing the sound of weed whips and whatever they had, chainsaws or whatever. I didn't buy into that. And also, I was creeped out by, I mean, you see this guy and you're like, okay, well, he has a relationship with his boss, who's an older woman. And then you're thinking, okay, well, maybe we're not supposed to think so little of him when he has a relationship with a younger woman. But it's creepy. And when he goes back and he says, oh, I'm going to be moving into the guest house with her. It's like, whoa. In what reality would that even occur in? It's not a believable story. It wasn't that good. Our house. This one is basically it's a story about why there's so many reasons why a dog is better to get than a husband. Or this one anyway, this husband. So and in the end you're like, oh, okay, maybe he didn't completely suck, but yeah, it didn't have to end the way it ended, so that's kind of silly. And yeah, he totally sucked. Anyway, I didn't really believe the story that much anyway. It's about, like, what if your perfect home were built on secrets and lies? And it says on the back, so the woman arrives home to find strangers moving into her house. All of her stuff is gone. Her house is empty. Somebody else is moving in. They say that they've bought the house. And she's like, no, you haven't, because I didn't sell the house. And so, and apparently, this isn't so far from reality, because we were hearing on the radio that this happened in Canada, that tenants, like people renting the houses, were selling the houses on. So we did hear that it happened, right? But honestly, I don't believe the police would react as they did. I think, especially when children are missing and stuff like that, they would be very involved. And, when she's freaking out at first, I don't think that they would say, oh, yeah, contact whatever. They would do that. They would contact. I don't believe that it would be left for her to figure it all out or whatever. But anyway, it's an interesting story. And so you might want to watch it. I don't know. To Catch a Killer. I actually enjoyed this one okay. It's just, I don't know, it's a police investigator story, and I didn't buy into the young woman actually being picked as to work with the guy. I'd given her past and stuff like that. I didn't buy into a lot of the story actually, but it's entertaining enough if you like police, FBI, find the killer sort of thing. Then probably like this too. I certainly didn't buy into the killer. I guess who he was, whatever, why he was doing. I didn't buy any of that. Level 16. It's an interesting enough story. If I remember correctly, this is a Canadian production, and it's about it says on the back, mysterious boarding school, and a bunch of 16-year-olds are trying to figure out things. They've been told throughout their childhood that they're there so that they can become the perfect children to be adopted. Well, surely at 16 you're thinking, okay, well, a little late for me now, right? So why am I still here? Anyway, but it's a little bit interesting as to why they're still there, and I don't believe this, but I do believe that children might be kept in a boarding school that isn't a boarding school for nefarious purposes or whatever. Anyway, The Wedding Guest. It wasn't a bad movie. It's says it's a globe-trotting thriller. I didn't really feel that way about it, but that's what it says. It's a sort of different kind of romance, a little bit creepy, you know, the whole abduction thing of the woman and all that. But anyway, some people might find it interesting. It's well enough done. It's more drama, I would say, than thriller. And this got bottom of the stack. Resident Evil Death Island. And if you've heard me talking about Resident Evil movies before, you're wondering, why is this on the bottom of her stack? I love the Resident Evil stuff. And not this one, though. Because I was watching the previews, and there was an animated Resident Evil preview, and I'm like, zip ahead. Who wants to watch the animated Resident Evil? And then this is on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is animated. And it's feature length. But having said that, they did an excellent job with the animation. You okay? And they're almost at, if the people aren't shown, if their facial expressions and stuff aren't shown too much, then you would think it's not animated. The animation's that excellent. But they still have work to do on facial, on expressions. These people just seem, as it was good that they featured, what's her name? Is it Claire Valentine? What's her name? I can't remember. But anyway, because they're the people that they're featuring in this anyway, they're military police officer type, and you don't expect them to have a whole lot of emotions that they're having to deal with. So often people in those positions have a lot of control over their emotions, and they use them for specific things, combat, whatever, but you wouldn't expect to see a lot of sad faces or whatever, or, you know, different kinds of expressions. So it almost worked, but in that respect. Now, with video games, a lot of the time you have the action bit, you're fighting the zombies and whatever, and then there's a video sequence that plays, and you get to a point, whatever, and then there's some other element opens up, and you have a whole bunch of weapons or something all of a sudden. Well, in a movie, you expect a little more explanation for why these weapons have shown up here. I mean, you have nothing but a knife, and then all of a sudden, oh wow, look at this big cache of heavy artillery we've come across. I mean, it's just ridiculous, especially when you're on Alcatraz Island. Why is it there? And there's a lot of unanswered questions too. You're thinking, okay, well, this virus affects people this way, but the last group managed to get home and do whatever before the symptoms arose, and then all of a sudden now it's just happening really quickly. Why? You know, so there's a lot of things in here that didn't make enough sense. And I mean, they obviously worked hard on the animation. They should have worked harder on the story. So yeah, that's why this got bottom of the stack. That's really all I have to say. Are you doing okay?
Relatively, yeah.
And you can't have the oatmeal. It's not.
I'm gonna take it
Okay.
to my place.
Okay.
And it's a little hot.
It's a little hot right now.
I don't want to hang around here too. I'm glad you're wearing the
Yeah.
well, especially when I was in
Yeah. All right. So, I guess that's the end of our death dinner.
the